The longer you stay single, the more you change in these 5 surprising ways. Have you ever paused to reflect on how long periods of being single might affect your personal growth, your emotional landscape, and your social interactions? Whether by choice or circumstance, years spent without a romantic partner can bring about transformations in ways you may not even realize. Some of these changes are empowering, helping you become more independent and confident, while others may unexpectedly hinder your ability to form deep, meaningful relationships when the opportunity arises. In this article, we will explore the 5 key ways in which long-term singlehood reshapes you mentally, emotionally, and socially. From your evolving approach to relationships, to how you handle emotional vulnerability, these shifts often occur gradually, without you noticing, until one day you realize how much you've changed. The goal here is to offer insight into these changes and help you embrace the positives while overcoming the challenges that might make connecting with others more difficult. 1. Greater independence, a blessing and a challenge. Independence can be one of the most profound and transformative benefits of spending a long time single. For many, the freedom that comes from living alone, and making decisions for oneself, is one of the most liberating experiences in adulthood. There is no one to answer to, no need to compromise on your personal desires, and no one to question the choices you make. Over time, this can help you develop a deep sense of confidence, self-sufficiency, and personal strength. This independence often manifests in different areas of life. In your daily routines, you get to decide how to spend your day, what activities to pursue, and how you structure your life. You can focus on your career, pursue personal hobbies, and achieve goals without needing to consider the needs or schedules of another person. This type of autonomy can be empowering. It helps you discover who you are, what you truly value, and what makes you happy. You become more comfortable being alone and, often, more adept at handling challenges independently. However, there is a darker side to prolonged independence. Over time, you can become so accustomed to managing your own life that the idea of adjusting to include another person becomes increasingly difficult. Sharing your space, time, and energy with someone else can seem like a disruptive inconvenience. Your personal routines, which have taken years to perfect, suddenly feel threatened by the prospect of a partner coming into your life. Take, for example, a couple of people who have been single for many years. One person remains flexible, open to change, and willing to make space for someone else, while the other has become deeply set in their ways. For the person who is flexible, relationships might come more easily, as they are prepared to adjust and make room for a partner. On the other hand, the person who is resistant to change might find themselves resistant to the very idea of a relationship, no matter how promising it might seem. This struggle between independence and connection is a common challenge in long-term singlehood. The key lies in finding a balance. You do not need to lose your sense of independence to form a healthy relationship, but you need to be willing to compromise, adjust, and make space for someone else. Relationships thrive on give and take, mutual respect, and understanding. Independence, when balanced with the willingness to share your life with another, can lead to a fulfilling relationship that enhances both individuals' lives. 2. Struggles with emotional vulnerability, the shield of independence. Another significant change that occurs when you've been single for an extended period is the gradual development of emotional walls. Over the years, you may have become accustomed to managing your emotions and struggles on your own. The absence of a romantic partner means you do not have someone to turn to for emotional support, which leads you to rely on your own strength and resilience to navigate life's ups and downs. While this might make you more self-reliant, it can also create challenges in future relationships. Emotional vulnerability, the ability to openly share your fears, hopes, and insecurities, is a crucial aspect of building deep and meaningful connections with others. In a romantic relationship, emotional intimacy is developed through the act of sharing your inner world, letting someone see you at your most raw and unguarded. However, if you've been single for years, you may find it difficult to open up to someone in this way. This inability or reluctance to be emotionally vulnerable can make it harder to connect with potential partners, even if they are a good match for you. You may find yourself hesitating to share your emotions or to let someone in. Perhaps you feel uncomfortable expressing affection, admitting vulnerability, or even saying "I miss you" or "I need you." Over time, you might convince yourself that you do not need this kind of intimacy, or that you're better off managing your emotions on your own. However, emotional vulnerability is not a weakness, it is a strength. It is the foundation of genuine connection and deep intimacy. Vulnerability allows others to see who you truly are, which, in turn, allows them to connect with you on a much deeper level. Without vulnerability, relationships can remain superficial, and true emotional closeness becomes impossible to achieve. Imagine two people who have been single for years. One is open to emotional connection and vulnerability, willing to share their feelings and express their needs, even if it feels uncomfortable. The other has built walls around their emotions, afraid to let anyone in. Who do you think will have an easier time forming a meaningful connection? If you have struggled with emotional vulnerability after being single for so long, it's important to practice. Start small by being open with friends or family about your feelings, and gradually build up to being more vulnerable in romantic contexts. Emotional openness is something that improves with practice, and the more you engage in it, the easier it becomes. 3 Stronger personal routines, a blessing or a barrier. One of the greatest benefits of being single for a long period is the ability to establish and maintain strong personal routines. Living solo means that you have the freedom to structure your day in a way that suits you best. You decide when to wake up, what to eat, how to spend your evenings, and how to organize your home. This kind of routine provides a sense of stability and comfort, and for many, it can be incredibly fulfilling. Having routines is essential to maintaining a sense of self-sufficiency and personal order. It allows you to focus on your goals, whether they're related to your career, fitness, hobbies, or personal development. When you don't have to consider anyone else's needs or schedule, you have the time and mental space to focus on what matters most to you. However, this level of personal control can also make it difficult to integrate someone else into your life. When you've been single for a long time, your routines become deeply ingrained. You may find it hard to compromise on the smallest of details, like when to eat, what to watch on TV, or how to organize your home. The idea of adjusting your well-established routines to accommodate another person can feel overwhelming or even disruptive. In some cases, it can lead you to view relationships as something that takes away from your established order rather than something that adds value. In relationships, compromise is necessary. It's about finding ways to blend your routines with those of your partner to create a shared lifestyle that works for both of you. That said, it's important to remember that your routines are not a bad thing. They reflect your personal growth, your autonomy, and your self-sufficiency. The key is to find a balance between maintaining your routines and being flexible enough to make space for a partner's needs and preferences. 4 Higher standards, are they helping or hurting? As you grow older and spend more time on your own, it's natural to develop higher standards for what you want in a partner. Years of singlehood allow you to reflect on past relationships, clarify what you want, and set boundaries around what you're willing to accept. This self-awareness is incredibly valuable, as it helps ensure that you will not settle for less than you deserve. However, as your standards rise, there is a risk that they can become unrealistic. When you've been single for a long time, it's easy to develop an idealized version of what a partner should be, expecting them to meet every criterion you've set based on your personal preferences. You might want someone who is emotionally mature, physically attractive, shares your values, and has the same life goals as you. While these qualities are perfectly reasonable, if they are too rigid, they can create a barrier to forming meaningful connections. 5 Less pressure to be in a relationship, the shift in priorities. As you spend more time single, the pressure to be in a relationship gradually fades. Initially, you might have felt societal or peer pressure to pair up, get married, and follow a traditional life path. But over time, you begin to realize that a fulfilling life does not require a romantic partner. Instead, you find joy in your friendships, your career, your hobbies, and your personal growth. Your life becomes complete in its own way. This shift in perspective can be incredibly freeing. You learn to enjoy your own company and live life on your terms. You create a fulfilling life for yourself, and you no longer feel the need to conform to social expectations about relationships. Embrace change, but keep your heart open. In conclusion, long-term singlehood brings about many changes, both positive and challenging. You may find yourself more independent, emotionally reserved, or set in your ways. These shifts can be empowering, helping you grow stronger and more self-sufficient. However, they can also make it harder to form deep connections and be open to new relationships. If you recognize some of these changes in yourself, remember that it's never too late to make small adjustments. Whether it's learning to be more vulnerable, practicing flexibility in your routines, or reevaluating your standards, every step you take brings you closer to the type of relationship you desire. And most importantly, remember that you don't have to lose yourself in a relationship. You simply make space for someone else to enrich your life. Thank you for reading, and I encourage you to reflect on how these insights might apply to your own life. The right relationship will never take away your independence, it will simply add to the life you've already built.